Thanks. Thanks, guys. I'm just going to spend probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes just building up my half-court press. I don't know who's been at the games that we've had, but you probably would have seen my team play this a little bit. Ake certainly would have seen it over there. I just wanted to show it and introduce it a bit because I'm sure all of you have had some experience with it, but I teach it a little bit differently, and I just thought there might be an interesting insight for me to talk you through. So I'll have a crack at it. Feel free to ask questions. I've said to the guys to ask questions as well if they need to, so I'm happy to play off you guys in that way. So to start off with, the positioning of where we start on the floor is important, and the dynamics of the athletes that we put into each position are important. So if I can have like a long sort of three-man just step out for me, I always put one of our longer, more athletic kids in the first line. What was your name? Declan. So Declan's going to play this line for us. So we're working that we've just scored down this end, or we've got the ball down this, the other group's got the ball down this end, we're playing down that way. So Declan's going to play our first line. I always ask those kids to play between the circles. So the landmark for Declan will be about where he is right now. The second line will usually be our two guards, so a one-man, two-man, our smaller, quicker, generally pretty good footwork type kids. So can I have two of those up for me? Come on, run it out. Second line will always start about a metre and a half behind the halfway line, and I always ask them to start around the lane line, so metre and a half, guys. So about there and about the lane line, so come in nice and tight. We'll talk a bit more about those positions in a second. And then our two bigs are usually back in the third line, so if I can get to our two bigs up the floor, I ask them to play in the lane lines as well, so behind the second line, and usually about the elbow. The new court markings are really good for this because the elbows are usually pretty spot on for us, so that works quite well. So that's pretty standard. The reason I ask them to start quite tight is because we want to encourage the offence to take the ball into trapping zones. So there's 4 key trapping zones in a half-court or three-quarter court press like this. The first one is just over halfway here, so a little box over halfway on both sides of the floor, and the last two are the back corners of the court, and I'll talk a little bit about how we encourage the ball to get there in a moment. The last trigger I give to these guys before I start talking specifically about the lines is that I ask them to play it like a man-to-man. So for Declan, when the ball comes into court, can I get an inbounder and then somebody as the receiver here? So when the ball comes into court, I want Declan to be obviously low in a stance, staying between the circles here and playing where the angle of where the ball is, so just holding there pretty good at the moment. The second line here, so we'll probably have an offensive player maybe down over in this corner for me here. Yep, that'd be great. And another one just around here as a likely receiver. I know you're Mitchell, aren't you? Yeah. So I've asked Mitchell to play this like a man-to-man, so rather than standing straight up here and dictating what we're about to do, we've got an offensive player on this side of the floor, so I'm asking him to close his stance up a little bit, carry his hands and be down in a stance. And same with you. And down low in a stance, you'd probably adjust your stance a little bit, probably the other way. The ball's this side of the floor. So we always show it like a man-to-man. Now here's where we start to get a little bit different here. The person in this first line here needs to be a little bit cognitive in the way they think about the game because they've got a really important role to play. Generally the ball will come over halfway in one of two ways, or the offensive team would like the ball to go over halfway in one of two ways. The first way is they want to dribble it over. So they might have a point guard that likes to handle it, it's a strong handler, they want to dribble the ball over halfway. That's the first way, so Declan's got a role to play with that. The other way that the ball can go over halfway is through the pass. So they're the only two ways, so they're the two ways that we look to initiate traps. So Declan's first call is as soon as the ball comes into court, the easy thing with a half-court press is they're going to establish one side of the floor, straight up, so that's great. So Declan's playing this like a man-to-man, Mitchell's playing it like a man-to-man, showing, denying the soft deny on this lane, but he's stepped into this lane, which is good. What was your name? Evan's going to come down the line as well, so he's taking away any long pressure release passes. Almost impossible to make that pass if he's in good position. Our weak side second and third line are going to step to the split line and take away any pressure release passes through the middle. What was your name? Tad. So Tad's going to be, again, playing it like a man-to-man, about a metre and a half from the halfway line, and so he can now have vision on anyone that's likely to flash the middle, but be in a position to communicate with Declan and see the ball. And same with you. So you want to change your stance, similar to Tad's, but so you can see anything coming up the middle of the floor. What was your name? Jesse? Do you want to dribble it or pass it over? You can be a dribbler. All right, so Jesse's just told me he was going to be a handler over halfway. Generally when we play, you can identify pretty early how the point guard likes to play. If they'd rather dribble or pass it, we can help the players with that. Often the athletes can identify it themselves. Jesse's going to be a handler on this. So my instruction to Declan is stay between the circles, but once he's initiated or identified that Jesse wants to handle it, we want to get on his hip and channeling him into the trapping zone. So he's going to get on the hip, go on, get on his hip. What he doesn't want to do is allow Jesse to bring the ball back to the middle. So if Jesse tried to come back middle, he's going to step up the line and send him back this way and encourage him into the trapping zone on the dribble. Mitchell's job now is to work with Declan on that. So he's going to show it again like a man, hedge at the ball, recover, hedge, recover. He doesn't want to, so if Jesse brings it, he doesn't want to run at that and get out of that trapping zone and open up space behind him and create offense for the other team. So he wants to encourage the ball into the trapping zone, but put some doubt in Jesse's mind as that's happening. All right, let's go back again to the inbound. Declan, do you reckon you can have a shot at this? So he's going to be a dribbler on this, so you're going to get on his hip and channel him into the trapping zone. All right, have a crack at that. Hang on, wait. So straight away, you've come out of your landmark. Yeah, so once he's a handler, that's fine, but let him come to you at around between the circles, but then you want to get on his hip and channel him. Because if you come too high, then you're allowing him to play the whole floor behind you. Yep. So round now, get on that hip, get on that hip, get on that hip. Good, send it, good. Well, okay, stop. That's pretty good actually. You probably came a bit early, Mitchell, but then you backed off, which is good. Because remember, if we come too early, he can then try and work that trap and play both sides of the floor. So we're encouraging him into the trapping zone. Yep. So get on that, one, recover, go. Now, okay, so pretty good actually. Let's give him a clap on that, it's pretty good. As he steps over the halfway line though, Mitch, we want to trap the hell out of him. So the closer he gets to the halfway, the closer you get. The second he steps over that, I want to trap the hell out of him. So let's go do that again for me. So you guys are going to be talking to them there, Tad. You're going to be talking, staying nice and deep. You're going to be talking to Mitch. I've got you here, Mitch. Go, you're right. We're going to encourage that action into the trapping zone. Yep. All right, now get on that now. Good. Stop there. Excellent job. So what we've done now in the third line is, so offensively, can you just go a bit deeper for us? Is make sure there's no pressure release pass there, so that's really excellent. You're communicating with these guys. Any pressure release to the middle, you're going to defend that. So now we're going to have a go at that. Let's go again. Can we get a fifth offensive play down that corner for me? I want you, as Jesse's handling the ball, to flash the middle for me. Flash the split line. Okay. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Wait. Okay, freeze there. Nice job. So if you flash the middle, what's your name? Riley. So Riley's got a really crucial job because right now, he's the one that can see the whole floor. So he can help every one of his teammates out. So remember, he's got to show it like a man so he can see that flash coming here. So as that flash comes, he's going to defend it. It gets about above the top of the D here. He's going to hand it over to Tad. He's going to pick that up and defend that. Whilst these guys are putting heat on the ball, come ball side, defend that. Just going up near the halfway line for me, mate. Up near the halfway line for me. So as these guys are trapping the ball there, we want to take away all pressure release passes, which these guys have done pretty well. Okay? So that's not a bad start. Let's go again. The other way that we said that we can carry the ball over halfway against a half-court press or a three-quarter court press, depending what your terminology is on this, is through the pass. So there's a different cue that I give the guys, or girls in my case, when they establish that this guy's a passer, so throw the ball in. So for Declan here, the way that he would establish that is pretty much to look at Jesse's eyes and see his body language on this. So generally, a handler will get it, and will put it to the floor and be looking to go and create. So then you'd come and get on the hip. If he gets the ball here, he brings it into the corner, and his head's up, or if he hasn't even used his dribble, the worst thing that we want Declan to do, is run at this here. If I'm here without having used my dribble and he comes and runs at me, then we're starting to just pick off and create 5-on-4s and 4-on-3s. We don't want to do that. So what we want to do is hold our form. You guys stay in line with the ball. You're on the split line, playing it like a man-to-man, and see what Jesse wants to do. So once you've fed the ball, come in beside Jesse. Well, you'd go, ball, I'm here guys, ball, got this. Communicate with your teammates. So the two passes that Jesse can make is one, straight into the trapping zone, which we'll talk about first, or a pressure release, which we'll talk about in a moment. So on the airtime of that, so if Jesse's not going to handle the ball aggressively through the press, if he's looking to pass that, Declan's here playing that. On the airtime of this pass, that's just gold for us, because that's quite a long pass. in a half-court pressing situation. I reckon Declan can probably fly with that. Mitchell's putting enough pressure on that and encouraging the receiver into the trapping zone. We actually should be able to trap that over halfway. So let's see how that goes. Let's see if we can get it on the catch. So you can lead into that trapping zone for us. Here we go. Okay, hold it there. Excellent. Tad's positioning is really good. He's taking away pressure release pass. You've got no one behind you now, so it's a bit different. If there was, you'd obviously be defending that. We're not allowing anything back. Now, clearly they can't throw it back to the handler because he's over halfway. This is a perfect scenario for us. We're very happy with this. Let's come back again. Probably the chances of that happening that perfectly for us aren't super, super strong. Probably if they're going to be a passer through the press, they're probably going to use the pressure release. So what happens on that? And again, really a lot of discipline required by the players on this, because generally when you press, they're full of energy, they're excited, they want to steal and get layups and all over the place. Really encouraging them to hold their form and their position in this is crucial. If they use a cross the court pass on this, the instruction is very simple. We don't need to rotate. The only time we need to rotate is if we've trapped and we've rotated out of it. If they cross the sides of the floor, all we do is just change jobs. So Tad, you're now taking Mitchell's role, 1.5 meters behind the halfway line, showing it like a man. You're falling in behind Tad there, guarding the split line, showing it like a man-to-man, guarding the split line. So we've just changed roles, but the same thing happens now. So now Declan makes the decision again. Is this guy, what's your name? Jake. Is Jake going to be a handler or is he going to be a passer? What generally happens is our bigs often inbound the ball, so this is often a big that receives this. So chances are he's probably not going to dribble the ball through the press. If he does, great, but he's probably going to want to either pass it over halfway, which then engages you, Tad, or kick it back here. Now if he kicks it back here, we're probably down 5, 6, 7 seconds and they're starting to get under a bit of pressure. So this lateral pass is really good for us defensively if that happens. If it comes laterally and then we pass it over halfway, then you guys are going to be ready to trap that on the airtime of the pass. Let's have a look at that. Take it out of court for me. Yep. Let's talk to each other back there. Help each other out. Hold, good. Now get that, Declan, get that. All right, hold it there. Nice job, nice job. What I generally tell the girls is we want to be able to rotate into 2 traps at least. So an effective half-court press is if we've gotten 2 traps. Doesn't necessarily mean we're stealing the ball. Chances are we're being disruptive. Again, if they've had to use a pressure release pass, they're lowering the shot clock, so this is working in our favour. If we can channel to a second trap, we're in really good shape again because the shot clock's running down and we're being really disruptive. So what I want you guys to do offensively here is to try to make a second pass once we get the initial trap. Then we're going to talk about rotating to that. Okay? Let's go again. Bit deeper. Yep. Okay, stop there. Stop there, pretty good. On the air time of that, so you're a bit, the ball was there and you're trying to close him out, which means that's going to be a bit tougher for you. Okay, so in the air time of the pass we move. All right, just bring it back here. Actually, Jesse, ball with you for a sec. So we've had the flash, the pressure release, middle flash from there. We've handed it off to Tad, so Tad's defending that, doing a really good job. Now, often this pressure release person will flash to around the halfway line. Come with me here. Which is okay. We still want to make sure we defend that. Even though I've said to Tad, we want you to be 1.5 meters behind the halfway line, we just don't allow that pass, so you will defend that. Now, on the pressure release pass here, before Tad's going to adjust, Mitchell has to relieve him. Because if we kick that and Tad goes to take his place, then we leave this open here. We're probably, whilst we're still slowing them down, we're probably letting them out of jail a little bit. So we want to, here the 2 guards have to really work as a group. So Mitchell will come and deny that and release Tad. Tad's key will be not to then come along the halfway line and take away the trapping zone, but to adjust back to 1.5 meters, which you've done really well. Nice job. And then we look to play from there. So can we go with that? Get you flashing the middle for us, mate. Mitch, you release Tad. Tad, go and take your spot. Okay. And get that, that's all right, nice job. Okay, let's go again. Let's get you, circle the baseline, and we'll try and make that pass down the line. Guys, I reckon we can now move up to about game speed. Let's see how you go with this. You're still playing it like a passer for me though. Jesse, still like a passer. Sorry? Yes, yes you are, yep. Like a man, shot like a man, Tad. Okay, hold it up, hold it up. Where did we go wrong? You got caught up a little bit in that. So you're denying it, but then as soon as it's gone, Mitch, you relieve him, and then you've got to get there as quickly as you can. So at one point there, we had both of you guarding the pressure release. Okay, here we go. Don't flatten out, don't flatten out. Between the circles, Declan, get it, get it, get it. Okay, stop there, very good. Ball back in the trap, ball back in the trap. Now, this is the cue that I use, and you might like something different. I find with young players it's a really good cue and an easier one to use. If the ball goes over your shoulder, you rotate to the second trap. It's just something that I've found works well for me. Other coaches like if you see it, you get it. Whatever works for you is fine. So on this airtime of this, so what's your name again? Riley's done a great job now of being ball side here, so coming down the line and denying this pressure release. Mitch, you're now guarding 2 here. There's no one basket side there, so you're in pretty good shape. You can probably step up the line there. If you were to cut to the basket, you're now guarding probably both of these, Mitch. But if we've got a really good pressure trap here, probably can deny that pretty much harder. Now the ball comes out low. On this one, Tad, it's gone over your shoulder, so you would go to get this. I'm ripping through this, so feel free to ask questions, but in every trapping situation, there's 3 roles. Every player has either one of 3 roles. There's a channeler, a trapper, and a rotator. Every player on the floor has those 3 roles. So, ball back here in the trap. So that ball comes out. So Riley's denying this. I mean, ideally, if that comes out in the air, we'll be able to pick that off. But if that comes out and he's closing out that lane, he now becomes the channeler. So Riley's now the channeler. We want to, early in the clinic here, I established that we have 4 trapping zones on the floor. We've just talked about 2 trapping zones. The other 2 trapping zones are down in these corners. So Riley's got a real opportunity here to channel his man or channel this offensive player into one of these deep trapping zones for us. So to do that, he's going to get on his hip and send him down there. Tad's the trapper. The trapper's role is to talk to the channeler, but it's his job ultimately to overlap his leg and create a really good trapping angle. If Tad was to run straight at this, there's a very, very good chance we'll be able to split that trap and either foul or end up 1-on-1, 1-on-0. Not an ideal situation. So Tad's job is to come in, overlap his leg with Riley and create a trapping angle where these guys can work the trap. And the third role is a rotator. So everybody else on the floor right now is a rotator. So we've gone deep. You're going to rotate to low split. Mitch is going to rotate into high split. Declan, you're going to rotate in and guard 2 and give these guys a chance now to manage space. How are we going with that? Cool. Can we go down and see how we go? Jesse, you can play it like a dribbler or a passer. Declan's job to see how he manages that. One thing I will say, Declan, is if he's a dribbler, the worst thing we can do here is back pedal. So just jump out for a sec. As the first line here, is he's playing it like a handler. Generally, we get a little bit worried about getting beaten, so that the automatic reaction is to back pedal here. The more we flatten out a half-court press, the more we're just playing man-to-man, which is safe, but not why we would play a defence like this. So Jesse's established as a handler, then I can get up on his hip and send him where I want him to go. If he's established as a passer, we're pretty good anyway. Between the circles is where you want to be. Okay, let's see if we can get this done perfectly. Here we go. Don't backpedal. Don't back. Hold. Good. Get that. Rotate in. Nice job. Hold it there. Pretty good. Nice job. I reckon, Tad, now you're doing a great job of defending this. I reckon now your trick is to look into the eyes of the passer and see if this is a legitimate option for him, because you're probably holding a little bit too long, because I understand you're trying to do what I've asked you to do. So if you look into his eyes and you know he's not looking at this, I reckon you can release a bit earlier and see if we can get that trap a bit earlier. All right, one more.
5 minutes.
Get that airtime and pass. Okay, so anytime we pass the ball across the court, that's a trapping opportunity, because that's a long pass. The longer the ball spends in the air, the better chance we are of chasing down a trap. If he's able to make that pass, I would suggest your pressure's probably not good enough. No, on that one, that would be Tad that would go to that. Yeah. Okay, last one. Hold. Tad, get that. Good, deny Mitch. Nice job. Excellent job. Well done. Let's just go one more. This time we're going to try and dribble through it. Okay, let's see how the guys work their traps. So in this initial setup here, if we establish Jesse as a dribbler, the channeler, the angles are a bit different, but the channeler would be Declan, getting on the hip here, playing that like a man and channeling him. and Mitch is going to be the trapper. So it's Mitch's job to manage the trapping angle. So it's Mitch's job to come in rather than straight at the trap, to come in, again, man-to-man stance and overlap legs. And we've got rotator, rotator, rotator. Okay? Last one. Wait. Good. Nice job. You right? All right. So, thanks guys. So just reasonably quick, trying to put it all into one 20-minute hit, but the keys are really, and probably the unique way of, that I've sort of developed over time is just that understanding in that first line of looking in the eyes and the body language of the person with the ball, and how do they want to get in the ball over halfway? Do they want to sit there and pass it? If so, these are our mechanisms. Do they want to try and dribble the ball through? If so, these are our mechanisms. And just the understanding of, we want to encourage the ball into the trapping zones, the 4 trapping zones. How do we do that? Through our hedge and our talk and that first line. As you can see, the first line's really crucial. You need somebody that can really think through that in that line. You did a hell of a job, mate. Good job. Any questions on that? No? And the guys as well. Thank you.